The dust tasted like iron and regret. Rourke spat, wiping his mouth with the back of a calloused hand. The sun beat down on the meager plot of land he's been tilling for the past 6 months, a testament to his attempt at a new life. Copper Canyon was what he's expected. He's envisioned a place of promise, a clean break from the shadows that clung to him in Missouri. Instead, it was just another town struggling to survive in a brutal land, with its own share of vultures and ghosts. He's been trying to farm, to plant something honest, something real. But the soil was stubborn, the water scarce, and his heart even more so. The memory of Sarah's face, the way the lantern light danced in her eyes before he pushed it away. He had to. Dwelling on the past would only dig him deeper into the despair he's fighting so hard to escape. A shout broke through his reverie. "Rourke, you couldn't answer or just stand there looking at the sky." It was Deputy Miller, a young man barely out of his teens, brimming with a misplaced sense of authority. Cal straightened, his shoulders stiffening. He hadn't intended to get involved. He's just wanted to be left alone. But Copper Canyon didn't offer that luxury. "What is it, Deputy?" Cal asked, his voice raw from disuse. "There's trouble down at the saloon. Seems like Silas Blackwood is causing a ruckus again." Miller gestured towards the town, a hazy shimmer in the heat. "Sheriff wants you to come along." Silas Blackwood. The name tasted bitter on Cal's tongue. Blackwood was the closest thing Copper Canyon had to an outlaw king, a charismatic gambler and gunfighter who's managed to skirt the edges of the law for years. Cal had encountered him once before, in a card game in St. Louis, a game he's lost, and a man he hadn't forgotten. "Why me?" Cal asked, already knowing the answer. He had a reputation for being good with a gun, for knowing how to handle trouble, a reputation he's tried to bury deep. "Sheriff figures you're the only one who can talk some sense into him," Miller said with a shrug. "Or at least keep him from blowing up the whole town." Cal sighed. "Fine." He wiped his hands on his trousers and started walking towards the saloon, a midday sun searing his skin. The Golden Nugget Saloon was a hive of activity. The air was thick with smoke, the smell of stale beer, and the raucous laughter of cowboys and miners. Silas Blackwood stood in the center of the room, a whirlwind of fury and bravado. He was surrounded by a circle of supporters, all egging him on. Blackwood was a handsome man, with dark, piercing eyes and a cruel smile. He wore a fine suit, but his clothes were rumpled, his face flushed with anger. He was arguing with a nervous-looking man in a dusty suit, a railroad surveyor. "I'm telling you, I will let you build that railroad through my land," Blackwood roared, slamming his fist on a table. "You think you can just come in here and take what isn't yours?" "Mister Blackwood, I'm just doing my job," the surveyor stammered, shrinking under Blackwood's gaze. "I have the legal documents, the permits." "Legal documents mean nothing to me," Blackwood spat. "This land belongs to me, and I won't let anyone steal it." Cal pushed his way through the crowd, his eyes fixed on Blackwood. He could feel the tension in the room, the palpable sense of impending violence. "Blackwood," Cal said, his voice low but firm. "Let it go." Blackwood turned, his dark eyes locking onto Cal's. A flicker of recognition crossed his face. "Rourke," he said, a slow smile spreading across his lips. "I thought I recognized that gloomy face. Still looking for redemption, I see." "Redemption's a fool's errand," Cal replied, keeping his voice even. "But a bar fight over a railroad ain't worth anyone dead in her." "You always were a killjoy, Rourke," Blackwood said, taking a step closer. "Always trying to play the hero." "I'm just trying to prevent a disaster," Cal said, his hand hovering near the butt of his revolver. "This ain't gonna change anything. The railroad's coming. Fighting about it won't change that." Blackwood laughed, a harsh, mocking sound. "You think I care about the railroad? This is about principle, Rourke. About standing up to those who try to take what's rightfully ours. It's about control." Blackwood, Cal countered. "Always has been." Blackwood's eyes narrowed. "You always did have a knack for seeing through people, didn't you?" He paused, his gaze sweeping over the crowd. "All right, Rourke, I'll play your game." He turned to his supporters. "Someone fetch me a bottle of whiskey." The whiskey fueled Blackwood's defiance. He began to taunt Cal, dredging up memories of their previous encounter, mocking his past failures, and questioning his motives. Cal tried to ignore him, focusing on keeping the situation from escalating. But Blackwood was relentless, his words like tiny needles, piercing Cal's carefully constructed facade. Suddenly, Blackwood lunged, grabbing Cal by the collar and shoving him against the wall. "What are you running from, Rourke?" he sneered. "What sins are you trying to hide?" Cal pushed back, breaking free from Blackwood's grip. He felt a surge of anger, a primal urge to silence this man once and for all. But he held back, reminding himself of the life he was trying to build, the future he desperately wanted. He stepped back, his voice calm despite turmoil within. "You're a sad man, Blackwood, consumed by your own bitterness." Blackwood's face contorted with rage. He drew his revolver, the click of the hammer echoing in the dense silence. "I'm tired of your holier-than-thou routine, Rourke," he shouted. Cal didn't draw. He knew that if he did, it would be open season. It would be the end of everything he's been trying to build. He braced himself, ready to take whatever Blackwood threw at him. Then, a voice cut through the tension. "Silas, enough." It was Sheriff Harding, a grizzled old lawman who has seen it all. He stepped between Blackwood and Cal, his hand resting on his own revolver. "Blackwood, you're disturbing the peace. I'm arresting you." Blackwood hesitated, his eyes darting between the sheriff and Cal. He knew he was outnumbered. With a final, defiant glare at Cal, he allowed himself to be led away. The saloon slowly emptied, the tension gradually dissipating. Sheriff Harding turned to Cal, his expression grim. "You handled that well, Rourke," he said, "but I'm keeping an eye on you. This town doesn't need another gunslinger." Cal nodded, offering a curt acknowledgement. He turned and walked out of the saloon, stepping back into the relentless heat of the Arizona sun. He walked towards his small patch of land, the image of Blackwood's eyes burning into his memory. He knew that Blackwood wouldn't give up easily. He's a force of nature, a storm of chaos and defiance. And Cal knew that the paths would cross again. He reached his farm and surveyed the parched earth. The crops were struggling, the soil resistant. He picked up his hoe and began to dig, the sweat pouring down his face. He's planting another row, a symbol of his stubborn hope. As he worked, he noticed something glinting in the dust. He bent down and picked it up. It was a small, tarnished silver locket. He opened it. Inside were two miniature portraits, a young woman with kind eyes and a laughing boy. He didn't recognize them. He closed the locket and slipped it into his pocket, a silent question hanging in the air. A new mystery had been added to the already complicated landscape of Copper Canyon. He knew he wouldn't be able to ignore it.